Welcome to Reread, where I'm rereading through the expanded universe in chronological order. Folks, we are on Dark Times, Out of the Wilderness. This is where they hit the big reset button and everything's going to be just a five-issue story arc. And I hated that. I despise that. They just wanted to do short miniseries because I thought that would get more people. People will buy number one. But the thing is, though, it takes place in the continuity of the stories. Like, it doesn't give you that much of a wrap-up of what's happened. I mean, maybe a page or two of dialogue of what happened, but you know, it's happening in the middle of an adventure, but it's a new number one, and that's all they cared about at the time, so kind of hated that. It starts off that Jenks, who was captured by the Imperials, an assassin enters the Imperial Star Destroyer, I think, and assassinates Jenks. Like, what is going on? He's looking for Doss Jr. Of course, Vader is pissed. And Vader wants that assassin, but the assassin escapes, and so Vader's looking for him because you don't kill one of Vader gets to kill his prisoners, no one else does. There is, and I should have mentioned this because I think it was in the last one, but there is a Verpin Jedi called Sedhet, who is helping Bomo and his crew. He says he needs to help them find Doss Jr. and, you know, save him. Or use, I can't remember. I think they're together at this point. I can't remember. No. They come together after this because there's a fisherman called Fish who goes to him and says, "Hey, I know where Doss is and he needs help." So the Verpin Jedi is going to help them as well, and he's really good because they say, "How do we know you're a Jedi?" And he takes out a whole group of mercenaries who are shooting him. And they go, "Okay, you're a Jedi." It's really funny. And they, by the way, I should also mention this. On top of the great art, there's a good use of different species. All the different species that you would see in Star Wars, there's a good use of each one in this comic book. Very unique, and I really like that there's all these unique different, blood carver, you know, a Salonian, you know, yak face, you know, just neat things that we are familiar with, but we don't get to see that much, you know, a whippet and stuff. I was like, that's pretty good. Now, what's going on with Doss Jr.? Well, at the end, even though we don't know how, he took Ember with him, cuffed her up because he's taking her back to her family on this planet. Well, it turns out they're on this like desert planet. She's like, "My family doesn't live here. I just said that just to pull at your heartstrings. Just you'd help me." She's like, "You know, you're an idiot." You know, and it's funny because they're, you know, he's been leading him through the desert this whole time, and she when he's going on a scouting trip, he sees a caravan, and he knows better. He doesn't know who they are yet. Well, she calls out to him, and she gets herself captured because they're slavers. And so now Doss has to save her and another woman who's there. I think her name is Madison or Maddie or whatever. And he's got to save both of them, which he will. And Maddie is always full of hope. And Doss makes a promise that he, you know, take her, you know, go back to your home planet. Don't worry, I'll come. Don't worry, you'll be okay. Well, at the end, he actually has to take off and flee. He's like, "But she'll lose hope if I never return back." You know, and that's all she has left is hope. Now, she's fine, but the thing is, though, she was hoping the Jedi would come and, you know, make things better on the planet, and he's not. But this is Dark Times. We don't always get a happy ending here, and I love that. Now, as for H2, he definitely has a funny scene here where Doss has him stop carrying all the supplies and start sweeping their footprints out of the sand. And you see at the end, when they're all walking away and he's sweeping the footprints, he went, "Oh, I kind of like this." And then later on, he's like, you do this. H2, you're back on sweeping duty." He went, "I like sweeping footprints, Master," is what he says. Oh, and he's decided, because Doss Jr. has just been so awesome, he's decided that he's happy that that's his master now. I love H2. I really forgot how good H2 was. The assassin that killed Jenks is now gunning for Doss Jr. He ambushes them after Doss saves them from the slavers, Maddie and Ember. And so Doss has to go after him, you know, gets the upper hand. The assassin escapes, but he, you know, he couldn't capture Doss Jr. When he gets back to his ship, the Imperials are crawling all over it, and then behind him, Vader. He's like, "Oh no." You're like, "Oh no, he's gonna die now. Vader's pissed." I can't remember what Vader says something witty, you know, "Ah, nice of you to join us." You know, I don't know what he says, but it's pretty funny because that's kind of how it ends for him. And of course, we find out that who hired the assassin? Well, the person that Doss killed, you know, Doss Jr. killed in the first adventure, the family got together and hired this assassin. And so, we're not done with the assassin yet. Something fun happens. But overall, right now I'm just going to stop on the story arc and just tell you, it's really good. I am now thinking that maybe I should have put this in my top 5 comic books of all time. I always knew I liked it, but the more we get to see it, and this one is dark. This is probably the darkest Dark Horse comic book or Star Wars book or comic book that is out there. And it's just something I did not realize. I haven't gotten to some of the other adventures yet, and boy, are they horrific. All right, folks, we'll see you next time.